Good morning. My name is Jan Estes, and I welcome you to the Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist of New Braunfels, Texas. Welcome to all of you, whether you are Zooming in to attend our service or attending in person. This congregation practices a blended ministry, which means that on any given Sunday, we will either learn from our wise minister, the Reverend Ade Krabah, or we will hear widely differing points of view on a broad range of subjects from speakers from within our congregation and in our community at large. This morning, I get to share my views on covenant and creed. And next Sunday, we invite you back to hear Reverend Ade speak on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and living a life of service. Again, welcome. We are here with expectations spoken and unspoken. We open ourselves to whatever breaks in upon us, or transforms us, or heals us, or enlightens us, or summons us to decide. And may our reason and our passion keep us true to ourselves, to each other, and to our vision of becoming. I thank the Reverend Mark Bellatini for those words. Now, as I said, I've been invited to speak on covenant and creed. These are my opinions, and you're welcome to come to your own. This is doing the Sisyphus rock. I imagine that you've heard it said that it's really easy to be a Unitarian Universalist. Since we have no creed, we are free to believe anything that we want. But that is just not so, and it is not easy either. Any life well lived must have some rules to arrange itself around. And if when you're born, you are not given a ready-made set, or if the ready-made set that you're handed doesn't work for your spirit or your way of being in the world, then you must work out these rules on your own. We're tasked to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and it's a long, hard slog. Consider this. If you're born into a particular religion, most likely you were handed a creed or set of rules to live by. You didn't need to come up with these laws on your own, nor, heaven forbid, were you expected to question their validity. My daddy told me that these were the law, and I know he'd never lie to me, so it must be so. I'll just put these laws on my bookshelf, and if I'm ever puzzled about anything, I'll just take it down and riffle through it till I find the answer I need. Corinthians. Let the women remain silent in the churches. Now, exactly where does the immorality in this lie? But so it is written, it must be so. So I'll just put the book back on the shelf and go about my day-to-day business until I'm needed again, if ever. The point is, if you're given a set of values as the whole truth and you never question the logic, the morality, or the ultimate fallout from living these laws, well, I think that's actually the easier way. Just set it and forget it. You can be on autopilot for the rest of your natural life. But having to devise your own creed is hard work, and it is never completely finished. It's more like the work of Sisyphus, a very clever Corinthian king who outwitted a god, a goddess or two, and was made to pay for his audacity by pushing a boulder up the mountain every day, only to have it come crashing back down, and he had to start over again the next morning, and the next, and the next, and the weary next. Now, you can think of yourself as Sisyphus, and of the boulder as your personal creed. And you're going to place that creed on your personal mountain so you can always see it and you can always live by it. And you have worked long and hard to perfect this creed. And as you struggle to put your perfect creed up on the mountaintop in its perfect place, you have a sudden thought, but how does my personal creed affect those people living right there? And in this moment of distraction, your creed that you've worked so long and hard on goes crashing down the mountain, and you have to start all over again. But this beginning again does not come without a blessing. And the blessing is this. It is during your trek back down the hill to retrieve your stone that you have the time to consider what you've just learned and how you will incorporate that knowledge into your creed, your personal creed, your creed which is now new and improved. But what in Zeus's name does all this creed talk have to do with covenant? Well, after you've been struggling alone with your boulder for a period of time, you may notice that you're not the only Sisyphus on the mountain. There's a fellow Sisyphus who appears to have been at this for a millennium. And here's a newbie who is just now rolling his boulder to the base of the mountain for his very first climb. Over here is a fellow who is so impatient for interchange that he asks question after question after question, but he doesn't wait for any of the answers. And there goes a Sisyphus who cannot quite detach himself from a cherished belief. He could not let go of a belief that no longer serves him well. So now he is bouncing painfully down the mountainside, still holding on to his boulder. I'm here to tell you, as one who has been guilty of not letting go of cherished beliefs more than once, that one really smarts. How can such different individuals possibly come together in community to travel our separate paths together? Well, we just can't do it without covenant. Covenant is the glue, the gravity, the thread that holds all of us together. I promise to support you on your quest for truth and well-being, and I trust that you will support me on mine. I promise not to try to not color what you are saying with meanings of my own, and I trust you will listen to me just as sincerely. I promise to assume good intent in all I see you say and do, and I trust that you will extend the same to me. So it's promise and trust, promise and trust. And when mistakes are made, and mistakes there will surely be, let's promise to make amends as best we can, to pick ourselves up from the foot of the mountain, and in the words of Louis Van Leer, having let go, having set our intentions, having named our curiosity, having committed our energies, and having given ourselves over to lives of balance, purpose and meaning, let us begin again in love. Blessed be. Our reading today is our own Unitarian Universalist of New Braunfels Covenant, which is a promise of how we will be in relationship with one another. So please, let's read it together. Okay. Well, people at home may read it. Just listen to me. I'm assuming you're reading it along with me. This is a place of safety and integrity devoted to a vision of a world made better. We come together as equals and honor the diversity of those gathered here. To this end, we promise to support each other, young and old, in our quest for truth and well-being. We promise to actively listen to each other with the intent to be understood. We promise to assume good intent in those with whom we have differences and to seek resolution with them in a kind and timely manner. We promise to acknowledge and express appreciation to each other often. We promise to share our time, talent, and treasure in the spirit of stewardship. We promise to participate in the consensus process and then support the outcome. We promise to trust our chosen faith, Unitarian Universalism, to give us insight and to guide our actions. Look, here is the flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism and of the 7 principles which help guide our actions. The principles are a guide, which is part of the covenant that we make with each other. This guides us as to how we treat ourselves, our planet, and all things on it. On the other hand, the 6 sources reveal how each of us came to be here, together in this place at this time. And here, in abbreviated form, are those sources. Yes. Direct personal experience of transcending mystery and wonder. Words and deeds of prophetic women and men. Wisdom from the world's many religions. Jewish and Christian teachings. Humanist teachings. And spiritual teachings of the earth-centered traditions. Now, if these are sources from which our living tradition springs, they are also the pathways on which each of us has traveled individually to arrive here. My pathway, which draws from more than one of these sources, as yours probably does as well, my pathway is uniquely mine, just as yours is uniquely yours. No one path is greater than the other, and no one path is less. Each of us arrives here bearing gifts from our own sources which we acquired along our way. Gifts of thinking, feeling and doing, which, when shared and received, help the rest of us in our individual journeys. So, as I extinguish this flame, take an ember from it and kindle a fire on the altar of your heart, so that wherever you go, its light will be with you to help guide you on your own wonderful, unique journey.